Today I'm touching on fuel and material cost escalation, because as every buyer, engineer, and contractor knows, project costs are running out of control. So today I'll offer a few mitigation measures that can be employed in order to reduce price risk and address cost on projects. We're in the midst of a major price spike in almost all aspects of the construction industry. The economic recovery from the pandemic has led to extraordinarily high demand for common construction materials and services. And when this is coupled with a continued lag in material production and delivery as a hangover from COVID, we're running into inevitable costing issues and delays. And these costs are very apparent across the board. According to the Industrial Product Price Index produced by StatsCan, the cost of diesel fuel increased by 47.5% in 2021, while the cost of building and construction materials increased by 45.7%. A composite index of 11 major cities in Canada indicated an increase of 21.7% for the cost of residential buildings and 11.2% for the non-residential buildings just in Q4 of last year. And anecdotally, we know that this situation has grown much, much worse in the first 4 months of 2022. So we're all faced with tremendous uncertainty and unpredictability in the bidding process, as well as substantial cost overruns and project delays on existing projects for things that are beyond the control of the industry, the region, or the province. Although there are some mitigation measures in place for contractors bidding and working on federal and provincial projects, very few municipal or private buyers carry these type of contract specs. To give some real examples of what we're seeing on sewer and water main projects this year, the cost of 300 millimeter DR18 water main pipe, the most widely used municipal water main pipe, has increased from an average of $81 per meter in 2021 to now cresting over $200 per meter in 2022. Asphalt costs have increased by upwards of 40%. Aggregate has increased by 25%, and concrete pipe and manholes are up on average of 20% so far this year over 2021 prices, and this list goes on. So we have been making a few recommendations for how to mitigate some of this price risk on municipal infrastructure projects. First, we recommend that you commit to ordering materials the minute a job is awarded to ensure that the product is ready and on site when the project is set to start. There is major competition for product right now, and there are no guarantees on when products will be available. Operating on a pay-when-delivered model rather than a pay-when-installed model will help to ensure that volatile materials are available and prices are locked in at the front end of a contract. Defence Canada contracts include this type of language, as do many P3 contracts and a number of contracts for the province of Quebec, to ensure products are stockpiled and ready when they're needed, ensuring that no one aspect of a project holds up another. Secondly, we're recommending that infrastructure owners adopt price escalation clauses in their contracts. These clauses are already used in many contracts in Quebec as well as for Defence Canada, and until material price volatility calms down, this will be a way to help address some of the project risk and cost that is running out of control right now on municipal projects. Finally, we're recommending that owners adopt a fuel index to help address runaway fuel costs. There are a couple of different fuel indices being used right now in the province by public buyers, and these things work both ways. As the fuel costs go up, your project cost goes up. But as it goes down, the project costs go down. So this can be a benefit to both the owner and the contractor. The MTO fuel price index has been in place for well over a decade. And contractors do find it an administratively heavy process because it requires adjustments every month based on your progress draws, and it kicks in when fuel prices fluctuate more than 5% plus or minus. It is focused primarily on the road building industry, but with some small tweaks, it can be made to work for any infrastructure project. Similarly, the City of Ottawa has been using its own fuel index for a number of years. It's based off the reported MTO fuel price, but rather than using MTO's fuel usage charts to calculate the costs, the city has selected a percentage of the tender price to be the fuel allotment and simply adjust the monthly payment certificate based on the change in the MTO fuel index. This is a less administratively burdensome process, but it also has flaws as depending on the type of work you perform, the set percentage may be higher or lower than the actual amount of fuel being used. Again, small changes to this model would ensure that it's fair and reduces contract risk for all parties on all different types of infrastructure. Now is really the time to get inventive and to help each other out. Contractors are taking on a lot of risk with the volatility of materials, and it's hitting owners on cost. There are ways to mitigate that can benefit both sides, and certainly now is the time to look for ways to address some of these things in order to help out pricing, but also to protect from the next set of price shocks that will inevitably arrive, whether it's this year, next year, or 5 years from now, or sometime beyond. And we'd love to hear from you about what you're doing or recommending to help addressing these cost issues. So please reach out to us and let us know.